I choose you!
Hi, I'm Professor Silver, and in today's class, I'll deep dive into the history of Ash's Krookodile, detailing his transformation from a rebellious Sandile into Ash's Unova ace. This video is brought to you by Exter. Exter has some of the best wallets on the market. Each of them provide luxurious quality and cutting-edge technology for everyday prices. They all boast sleek, minimalistic designs that give you speedy access to 6 cards with the click of a button. Best of all, the cards are all staggered, so you don't have to dig through anything. 6 extra cards can be stored in either the clip or pocket, depending on which wallet you purchase. My favorite of their wallets is the aluminum card holder, as it's both super simple and super slim. I love that it includes RFID protection, as it keeps me safe from credit card theft. One of my favorite add-ons is their solar-powered tracker. With only 2 hours in the sun, it gets over 3 months of battery life. If you can't find your wallet, just hit the button on your phone and the tracker will start to ring. So if you're ready to get a stylish new wallet that's near impossible to lose, use my code SILVER or click the link in the description to get 25% off your extra purchase. And now on to Krookodile's history. When Sandile first debuted in a Sandile Gusher of Change, everyone thought he was a nuisance. He was scorned by those who operated a local spa because he led his brethren in shutting down their hot spring. Unbeknownst to the spa operators, however, Sandile was just trying to warn their patrons of an erupting geyser. His meddling also irked Ash, but what truly annoyed the trainer was the kidnapping of his Pokemon. Luckily for all involved, Sandile only kidnapped them so as to protect them. Once Ash realized this, he forgave Sandile and saved the day by stabilizing his ladder. Sandile wasn't caught at episode's end, but he still followed Ash on his journey. It's unconfirmed why Sandile followed Ash, but my guess is that he wanted to test Ash's worthiness as a trainer. When he next appeared in Here Comes the Trubbish Squad, he wanted to battle Ash so badly that he lost all civility and attacked a bunch of kids. Due to Sandile's villainy, Pikachu blasted him off no different than he would the trio. As a result of the blast-off, it became Sandile's goal to not only follow Ash, but also beat Pikachu. He challenged Pikachu in Dancing with the Ducklet trio, but the fight ended after Wild Ducklet stole his glasses. Their theft revealed Sandile's greatest weakness. Whenever without his shades, he would become cowardly and insecure. Because Ash protected Sandile when he was feeling low, the Pokemon returned the favor when the Ducklet next attacked. Although Sandile did his best to beat them, it was ultimately Pikachu who claimed the honor. Likely to prove he was still a threat, Sandile reacted to the robbery by challenging Pikachu to battle. During the showdown, he used Stone Edge, tanked Quick Attack, evaded Iron Tail, and landed Dig. He also evolved into Krokorok and let loose another Stone Edge, but Pikachu's Electro Ball still blasted him off. The writers intended for Krokorok to return a few episodes later, but the cancellation of the Plasma 2-parter instead resulted in a 50-episode hiatus. When he finally returned in Explorers of the Hero's Ruin, it was revealed that he had trailed Ash all throughout Unova. He was found near the Chargestone Cave soon after stalling Clink Clang's gears. Ash respected the hustle, so he allowed for a rematch with Pikachu in battling the bully. As an opener, Krokorok dodged Iron Tail, missed Crunch, and fired off Stone Edge. Though he then blasted off, he returned to the battle alongside a boy named Nick who wanted to learn how to battle. Nick had him shrug off Thunderbolt, withstand Quick Attack, and dig underground, but he couldn't stop Krokorok from losing his cool when he lost his glasses. To make up for the outburst, Krokorok teamed up with Pikachu to devastate Nick's bullies. After Krokorok finished off their Seismitoad, he affirmed his friendship with Pikachu through one last rival battle. Unfortunately, Crunch, Stone Edge, and Dig weren't enough to overcome Thunderbolt, Quick Attack, and Iron Tail. Losing made Krokorok sad, but he brightened upon hearing Ash ask him to join his team. He accepted the offer, likely so as to get as strong as Pikachu. In spite of all the strength Krokorok displayed as a wild Pokemon, he still lost his first gym battle. In an amazing aerial battle, he landed only one hit before falling to Miss Charlton Gym Leader Skyla's Swoobat. Luckily, he did far better at Brycen's gym, because he and Ash trained with the gym leader and his Beartic in guarding the Guardian of the Mountain. Krokorok struggled during their training session, but he eventually proved his potential by protecting a Volcarona from Hunter Rizzo's Jellicent. Although Rizzo's cheating prevented him from winning, his stellar performance against the villain proved his readiness for Brycen's ice types. During the gym battle in caution icy battle conditions, Krokorok performed terribly against the leader's Vanillish. That said, he came into his zone against Brycen's Beartic. At the battle's start, Beartic held its ground with Icicle Crash and Brine. To combat the Ice type, Krokorok bounced into the air, summoned Stone Edge, and used Dig. Beartic tried to narrow the lead by throwing him for a loop, but he earned Ash the freeze badge anyway by launching Stone Edge, grabbing 2 of the stones, and stabbing Beartic like a stone cold killer. Shortly afterwards, Krokorok battled Iris's Dragonite at the World Tournament Junior Cup. The battle took place in the episode's Battling Authority once again, and Ash, Iris, and Trip, then there were 3. At first, Krokorok couldn't land a single blow because Dragonite was far stronger than him. Eventually, however, he turned the tides using Dig, Crunch, and Stone Edge. Dragonite fought back using a diverse array of attacks, but Krokorok refused to yield. After gathering all his energy, he evolved into Krookodile and unleashed a super effective Dragon Claw. The move led to Dragonite's demise, as it made him so angry that he wouldn't take orders. Krookodile won the battle by firing off Crunch, dodging Dragon Rush, and letting loose Stone Edge. By beating Iris's strongest Pokemon at the time, Krookodile arguably established himself as Ash's Unova ace. Following the win, Krookodile trained with Meloetta in the Undersea Temple. Their battle didn't last long, but it likely helped tremendously in Krookodile's preparation for the Unova League. During the league's 3rd round and Strong Strategy steals the show, he first fought Stefan's Liepard. During the battle's first half, Krookodile traded Dragon Claw for Shadow Claw, countered Shadow Ball, and dodged Hyper Beam. Liepard defended itself with Double Team, Shadow Claw, and another Shadow Ball, but Krookodile held strong, fired off Stone Edge, used Dig, survived Hyper Beam, and won with Dragon Claw. After a brief break, the ground Dark type then beat Sawk by matching close combat with Dragon Claw and landing Aerial Ace. The attack was a notable addition to his moveset, as it covered his weaknesses to Flying, Bug, and Grass types. Aerial Ace was also special as it resembled all the Blastoffs that he experienced during his turn as a Stalker villain. I hate to say this, but Krookodile didn't fight Cameron in the league's 4th round, so Ash lost the battle. It's a shame he didn't appear, as he would have earned Ash an easy win by wrecking Hydreigon. In addition to losing out on such an important battle, Krookodile also lost out on many of Ash's post-league adventures. Following the league, he helped Ash during his conflict with Team Plasma and Team Plasma in the Awakening ceremony, and protected Rotom into Catch a Rotom. He barely appeared during the Decolore adventures because Ash sent him to Oak's lab in Butterfree and Me. When Ash returned to the lab and the dream continues, Krookodile rounded out the saga by joining his teammates in a battle with Team Rocket. Unfortunately, he didn't appear in XY or Sun and Moon, as Ash only brought Pikachu to Kalos and Alola. Like the rest of the reserves though, Krookodile returned in Journeys, first appearing in Advice to Go. In Friends Lend Me Your Spirit, he greeted Ash's new Pokemon and napped as they trained for the Masters 8. During the tournament itself, Krookodile cheered for Ash and appeared in Pikachu's vision. He was delighted when Ash won the tournament, but was all the happier upon reuniting with him and aimed to be a Pokemon Master. Since that concludes Krookodile's history to date, let's get to his battle record. Krookodile beat Seismitoad, Brycen's Beartic, Iris's Dragonite, Stefan's Liepard, and Stefan's Sawk. He lost to Pikachu and Skyla's Swoobat. Move-wise, he used Bite, Stone Edge, Dig, Crunch, Dragon Claw, and Aerial Ace. Krookodile started off as a clone of Squirtle, but he left the series as one of Ash's only non-starter aces. I loved watching him battle Iris and Stefan, but I'm still bummed that he didn't do more in the Decolore Islands. I think the writers majorly dropped the ball by sending him to Oak, as he could have used the additional appearances to revive his rivalry with Pikachu and overcome his fear of losing his glasses. With another few battles, Krookodile would have also had a much better case for being on Ash's Ultimate Team. And on that note, class is adjourned. Big thanks to Exter for all their support. Make sure to click the first link in the description so you get 25% off your purchase. My name again is Professor Silver. Until next time, catch you later.